Ready to enjoy learning English? Little English. Episode 6.
Itsy bitsy a spider.
The itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider climbed up the spout again. The itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider climbed up the spout again.
The itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider climbed up the spout again.
Goldilocks. Once upon a time, in a land very, very far away, there lived a beautiful girl with very curly hair, very, very curly. Her name was Goldilocks. Do you know why? Because her hair was gold, just like the sun. You know the sun? That big goldy thing that shines up in the sky? Well, her name was Goldilocks, and her hair was very, very curly and blonde. So one day, Goldilocks decided to walk. So she was walking, and she saw a big, big house where 3 bears lived. And she decided to go inside the house. There was nobody inside the house. So she had a look and she went in. And Goldilocks was very, very hungry. And she saw 3 big bowls of soup. There was the first bowl. And she decided to try it. But it was too hot. Ooh, very, very hot, you know. So she decided to try the second one, which was medium size. So she tried it, but no, it was too cold. So there was a third bowl, which was very small, but she tried it and it was just fine. Delicious. So she decided to have the whole lot of soup. So she ate it all. And she finished it. And then she wanted to sit down. And there were 3 chairs. One chair was very, very big. The second chair was medium size. And the third chair was very small. So she went to the big, big chair. But the big chair was too hard. Ouch! Too hard. So she went to the second chair, which was medium size, and it was not very comfortable. So she went to the third chair, which was perfect. It was just right. But she broke the chair. She was too heavy for the chair, and she broke it. But she didn't care, and she thought, I will go upstairs and I will rest. So she went upstairs. and she saw 3 beds. One bed was very, very big. The second bed was medium size, and the third bed was quite small. So Goldilocks decided to try the first bed. But it was very hard, very uncomfortable. She didn't like it. So she tried the second bed, which was all right, but not too comfortable. So she decided to try the third bed, which was fantastic. It was perfect. It was very comfortable. So Goldilocks went inside the bed and she covered up. And she fell asleep. Can you imagine? She fell asleep. So she was like, she fell fast asleep. But guess what? The 3 bears arrived home. And they saw that there was somebody inside the house. So Daddy Bear saw his bowl of soup and he said, "Somebody has tried my bowl of soup." And then Mummy Bear saw her soup had also been eaten. And she was like, "Somebody has tried my soup too." And then there was the third bear, the baby bear. And he said, "Somebody has tried my soup and has eaten it all." So everybody was shocked. And then the chairs. Daddy Bear said, "Somebody has sat on my chair." And then Mummy Bear said, "Somebody has tried my chair." And then Baby Bear said, "And somebody has sat on my chair and broke it." So they were very, very shocked. And they decided to go upstairs. They went upstairs. And the big bear, Daddy Bear, said, "Somebody has slept in my bed." And then Mummy Bear said, "And somebody has been in my bed too." And Baby Bear said, "Somebody has slept in my bed and is still in it." So they were all looking at Goldilocks, sleeping, snoring happily. But suddenly, Goldilocks opened her eyes and she saw 3 big bears looking at her. And she was very scared. So she jumped and she ran and she ran and she ran as far as she could. Really, really far. And I think that she's still running. So, dear friends, this is the end of the story. By the way, you should never enter a house without knocking at the door first. You never know who lives in it.
This is this old man. This old man, he played one. He played knick-knack on my thumb with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played two. He played knick-knack on my shoe with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played three. He played knick-knack on my knee with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played four. He played knick-knack on my door with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played five. He played knick-knack on my hive with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played six. He played knick-knack on my six with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played seven. He played knick-knack up in heaven with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played eight. He played knick-knack on my gate with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played nine. He played knick-knack on my spine with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played 10. He played knick-knack once again. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home.
Learn the months. Hello again. You know that every year has 12 months, right? But do you know the name of each one? Let's see them all together. You have January, which is the first month of the year. For example, in January, sometimes it can snow. It's quite cold. And you can play with your snowman. Then you have the second month of the year, which is February. In February, we use to dress with our costumes in Carnival, right? That's very nice. Then the third month of the year, which is March, then starts the spring, when everything with flowers, all the trees, it's very beautiful. Then the fourth month of the year, which is April, it rains and you have to get your umbrella. Then on the fifth month of the year, you have May, when the weather gets warm. That's nice because we can play outside. Then the sixth month of the year, which is June, that's the perfect month because finished our school. And the seventh month of the year, which is July, it starts our holidays and we can do whatever we want. We can go to the swimming pool, we can play outside with our friends, not thinking about school. And it's quite hot. So we wear just t-shirts, shorts, fresh clothes. Then the eighth month of the year, which is August, we can swim in the river because it's so hot. Sometimes it's too hot, but it's nice, right? Because then, after that, comes the ninth month of the year, which is September. In September, school starts and we can meet our friends again. Then, in the 10th month of the year, we have October. In October, we have the very nice party, which is Halloween, when you get dressed and you scare people as well. And in this season, leaves falling down from the trees. Then, in the 11th month of the year, we have November. In November, it's getting colder, so we have to wear a coat, right? And we have the very important day, which is Thanksgiving. And to finish with our 12th month of the year, we have December. In December, we have the Christmas, when we get presents. We can meet Santa Claus. We meet our family with dinner. And it's definitely cold weather. So, the 12 months together makes a complete year. See you soon.
Snow White. Once upon a time,
there lived a little girl named Snow White. And Snow White lived in a big castle. Do you know what a castle is? It's a big, big house where kings and queens live. And Snow White lived in this particular castle with her stepmother, who was the queen. But the queen wasn't a nice queen. She was very scary and horrible and very, very bad and very, very mean to Snow White. But Snow White was a lovely girl, and she was happy, and she played in the castle, and she danced, and she sang. But the queen had a magic mirror. Do you know what a mirror is? It's like a window, and when you look in it, you can see your reflection. And every morning, the queen would look in the mirror, and she would say, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And the mirror would say, "Why, you're the fairest of them all, your majesty." And the queen would be very happy. "Oh, I'm so beautiful, look at me, oh." And she did this every day for years and years and years. But as the years went by, Snow White went from being a little girl to a beautiful woman. And one morning, the queen woke up, got out of bed, looked in the mirror, and said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And the mirror said, "Why, Snow White is the fairest of them all, your majesty." "What? What do you mean, Snow White? I am the fairest of them all." "No," said the mirror. "You're not the fairest of them all anymore. Snow White is beautiful." And the queen got so angry that she called for her best soldier. And she said, "Soldier, I want you to take Snow White deep into the forest and kill her. She's too beautiful. I am the most beautiful person in the kingdom. And as proof that you've killed her, I want you to bring back her heart." So the soldier wasn't happy with what the queen had told him to do, but he was very loyal and he always did what he was told. So he took Snow White and he said, "Snow White, we have to go into the forest because I'm going to teach you how to hunt animals." And off they went. Now, when they got into the forest, they had been talking and laughing and getting to know each other. And when the time came to kill Snow White, the soldier thought, "I can't do it." So he told Snow White, "Snow White, you're in a lot of danger. Run away and never come back to the castle." And she did. She ran as fast as she could. And the hunter killed a boar, which is like a big pig with teeth. And he took out its heart and he went back to the castle and he presented the heart to the queen and he said, "Your Majesty, I have done what you asked me to do. Here is the heart of Snow White." And the queen was very happy because Snow White was dead. But if you remember, Snow White wasn't dead. She went through the forest and she was very scared and very lonely until, what's that? She saw a house. Not a normal house like you have or like I have, a very little house. So she crept down and she went inside. And there were 7 little beds in the house. Who could live here, she thought. So she waited, and before long, along came 7 little dwarfs. Dwarfs are like little people. And they came in, and "Who is this?" they said. "Hello, my name's Snow White," she told them. And before long, they became good friends. And Snow White waited in the house, and she helped cook and clean, and in return, the dwarfs let her live with them. And they all became very good friends, and for years and years they were very happy. Until one day, with the queen, who hadn't spoken to the mirror in a very long time because she was very angry with the mirror, decided to speak to the mirror once again. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? And you know what the mirror said? Well, Snow White is the fairest of them all, Your Majesty. What? But that's impossible! Snow White is dead! No, she's not, said the mirror. She's not dead. So, the queen, who knew magic, took a special potion that made her very, very old and very ugly. And as the old woman, she walked into the forest until she saw the house where the dwarves lived. And she went very quietly up to the door and she knocked on the door. Who is it? Said Snow White. Well, hello, dearie. I'm an old lady. I have a present for you, said the queen. So Snow White opened the door and the old lady, who was the queen, was standing there with a juicy red apple. I've brought this apple for you, Snow White. But why have you brought me an apple? Asked Snow White, because it was a very strange thing to do. Why, I brought it as a present because you're the most beautiful lady in all the kingdom. So, Snow White said, thank you very much, because we always say thank you when we get a present, even if it's a nasty apple. And she bit into the apple, but the apple was poisonous. And poison's a very bad thing to eat. Never eat poison. And soon, Snow White felt faint and tired, and she fell to the ground. And the queen thought she was dead, because she was very still and she wasn't moving and her eyes were closed and she looked as if she was asleep. Said the queen, I've killed her! Now I am the most beautiful one in the kingdom! And with that, she ran back to the castle. Before long, the 7 dwarfs came back to the house and they saw Snow White lying there, very still and very white. And they realized that she was dead. And the dwarfs got very, very sad because they loved her very much. So what they did is they made a glass coffin for Snow White. And they put her in the coffin so that she could rest comfortably. And they took their hats off and they stood and they looked over Snow White, very sad. Until suddenly a prince came along on his horse. Oh la la, I'm the prince, la la la. What's this? He saw the 7 dwarfs standing around Snow White, and in the glass coffin lay the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. And the prince fell in love at first sight. He got off his horse and he ran over and he said, who is this woman? I want to marry this woman. And the dwarf said, you can't, because she's dead. But the prince didn't let that stop him because he was in love. And when you're in love, you do whatever you have to do. And he bent down and he kissed her. One kiss of true love. And suddenly, as if by magic, Snow White woke up. And the dwarves were really happy and they all jumped and clapped and sang. And then she looked in the prince's eyes and the prince looked in Snow White's eyes. And it was love at first sight for Snow White too. And they got married and they, along with the dwarves, went far, far away from the kingdom, from the nasty, nasty queen. And all of them lived happily ever after.